Looking at Ipu Lefiti in her plantation, feeling relaxed in her comfort zone, it would be hard to imagine the things that she has gone through, becoming situated in circumstances that she never envisioned she would be in. Ipu Lefiti is a surgical technician in the emergency room where she helps injured people cope with their pain, mostly people who are victims of physical health issues.
Victim. Victim in a domestic violence situation. Victim in a Red Cross situation where there is a need. Victim whether it's hurricane or a house burning down or, a crisis situation. That is how it all connects.
Her desire to help victims led her to become involved in other programs, such as the Domestic Violence Program. Her angle for bringing about domestic violence awareness is by bringing out everything that she has seen, witnessed, felt, touched that relates to the victim and putting it in the forefront on the focus of the people to let them know what these victims go through.
One of the hardest things that victims have is to report something to DPS and nothing happens. Or if it is reported, it takes forever for the process of, for the process. And all of these things are self-defeating to any victim. So if I can get in there and expedite as much as possible and becoming a pain in the butt through the system, just to get them through the system, that's what I'll do. Even taking our cry towards the Falefono and addressing domestic violence laws that we have in place that need to be tweaked a little bit.
She says that a lot of the trauma that happens to anyone, whether it's a female or male, it just takes someone to identify and walk with them, someone that cares. Her own personal guideline in dealing with a victim is to stay professional and trying to transfer her confidence into the victim to reassure them, because if they don't trust her, then she won't be able to help them.
If there's one thing a victim knows is they know my fafolinga. If I'm just out there just for the name or just for the money or just out there just for me, you're gonna know that. You're the first person that's already assessed me. And that's one of the things I try to share with people, is that you may be the counselor coming to me with your titles and your whatnot, getting ready to write notes. But before you sit on that chair, I, the victim, have already assessed you. And I find you lacking. And therefore, I'm not opening my mouth. I will not tell you anything. I will not share anything with you. I'll just tell you what I know you want to hear.
In taking herself out of her comfort zone, she is able to hear the victim and gain their trust. Although she comes face to face with victims, she tries not to get too emotionally involved or attached to them, because she feels that if she becomes emotional, the victim will lose it. Not only that, but it will become devastating for her, and it would affect her own personal relationships.
I don't want to ever give you any wrong signals other than to trust me and to feel safe. A lot of it, again, always goes back down to faith so that it doesn't clog you up. Confidentiality is the biggest thing, and you try really hard not to share it with your friends or your family members.
Ipu works alone, but her focus is on advocating, being visible, and just walking the talk. She says that our island is too small that we should be able to corner these human issues. The basis of her particular types of presentations is based on any forms of domestic violence, whether it be child abuse, sexual abuse, or even suicide, is going in and speaking directly from the experience that she had and what she went through in her early years of service in the military.
To have something like this happen to you in the military, that's going to compromise your rank. Because then not only are you going to be exposed there, what is your mental capacity then? Are you going to be able to perform as a soldier? When you're involved in an emergency crisis, will you be mentally stable enough to deal with a life-threatening situation? Are you stable enough to lead? Are you stable enough to get to receive a promotion? So all of these things fall in, come into a factor right there when it comes to rank and these kind of social issues. What kind of impact will it have on you as a soldier to lead?
There were a lot of other fear factors involved, and Ipu had to learn all of them on her own. Knowing how difficult it was for her to go through it alone, she realized when she returned home that it would be even harder for her own people. She realized that the only way to help her people was to take the lead and expose first what had happened to her.
I must always reveal myself before I can expect anyone else to reveal themselves. Just to let them know that you can come out of it. And no one would have ever known that something like that had happened to me unless I had revealed my story.
Ipu was stationed at Fort Erdwin with the ratio of 10 to 1 male to female soldier. The odds were against her, and there wasn't many people that she could turn to. There was a time when she withdrew from the world and didn't care less about what would have happened to her. But her friend, who was also her command sergeant major, was there for her, helping her come out of it. Because of her recovery, she is able to help others by telling her story.
Instead of trying to put hedges around me, I'd rather be as user-friendly as possible and easy accessible to our people by just doing the basic thing. Our island is just too small that we should be able to corner all of this stuff.
In going through with mental health, Ipu was able to face her past and accept that what had happened to her happened, and there was nothing else left but to face it. It took her 4 days to finally face the truth and accept it for what it was. Her strongest angle on letting people know that these kind of issues are happening is by using the scriptures and the Bible to be able to tie all of these things together through the Word.
My direction comes through there. My direction comes from the Bible. It comes from faith. It comes from a lot of courage to speak out, and because there are a lot of people that are out there that said, well, you don't have a degree in this, or you don't have a certificate on that. So you don't need a degree or certificate to do what is right. It takes time, I suppose, but again, always goes back to having faith in the Lord.
After retiring from the Army with 20 years of service and serving in the emergency room as a surgical technician for 18 years, Ipu Lefiti is still doing her part to help bring domestic violence awareness about and helping victims. It has been quite a journey for her, and she claims that she is still healing, and even though she might say that she was healed X amount of years ago, she can always claim another level of healing and another level, each one just as pleasing, if not better than the first. Ipu, more than anyone, understands the hardships, the fear and the shame that a victim has to go through, because early on in her life, Ipu Lefiti was a victim herself.
Even though a lot of people are afraid of what I am willing to reveal, or afraid of the intensity of it, mine is more into the need to get out there and to reach the victims. Who would ever imagine that the daughter of Vailautusi Avehalio was violently violated at one time?